Hey, what's up? Let's get into this and talk through the new Arc Raiders Update 1.3.0 in a way that feels like I'm just sitting here walking you through everything that changed, why it matters, and what you're actually going to feel once you load into your next run. No stiff patch note energy, just a real conversation about what shifted and how it'll affect your matches. So, right out of the gate, the biggest thing everyone's been reacting to is the Venator adjustment. If you were rocking that thing like it was glued to your hip, you know exactly why it got tuned. The upgrades used to push its fire rate into absurd levels, letting it shred at close range in a way that almost stepped on the toes of primary weapons. Now those bonuses are toned down, and on top of that, the weapon's weight is bumped up a bit. What this means in practice is that the Venator is still accurate, still reliable, and still has that punch you expect from it, but it no longer turns into a handheld machine gun the moment you start stacking upgrades. You'll feel it when you try to panic dump a mag into a swarm, and suddenly the gun isn't acting like a turbocharged hose anymore. It's subtle in normal fights, but really noticeable in frantic moments where you're used to leaning on that speed. Players who built their entire rhythm around the Venator are definitely going to need a couple of matches to readjust. You might even find yourself experimenting with other sidearms you ignored before, because the Venator always outshined them. The devs weren't trying to gut the weapon, just bring it back to a place where it doesn't dominate every close-range encounters. You'll just need a little more intention behind your clicks instead of holding down the trigger and watching things evaporate. Explosives also got a pretty defining rebalance. Before this update, explosive damage had this funny interaction where larger enemies could get hit across more parts of their bodies, letting big launchers chunk them way harder than intended. Now the damage calculation is corrected, so while explosives still feel impactful, you won't be deleting massive enemies just by spamming splash damage somewhere vaguely in their direction. Weapons like the Hullcracker now expect more precision and timing. If you used launchers as your go-to answer for every big mechanical beast stomping toward you, you'll notice the difference immediately. You can still blast them, but you've got to be more deliberate. Ammo crafting for launchers also changed, which is honestly a good thing once you get used to it. You no longer need a blueprint just to make launcher ammo. You can craft it straight at the workbench as long as you've got the materials. The recipe uses arc, motion cores, and crude explosives now, so the flow of resources into heavy ammo feels more structured. It pushes you to think about when you want to bring a launcher and how often you want to reload it. You're not broke, but you're also not endlessly printing explosives for every situation. And because we're on the topic of resources, a handful of economy tweaks slipped into this patch too. Some items have altered buy or sell values, which won't smack you in the face right away, but definitely affect the long-term rhythm of gearing up. The standout improvement in this category is the increased blueprint drop rate for Aphelion. A lot of players were stuck farming endlessly for that specific blueprint, so boosting its drop rate reduces the grind lock some people were stuck in. It evens out progression for players who aren't playing 10 hours a day, but still want to keep up with their squad's gear curve. On top of that, there are map fixes that clean up a ton of little quality of life annoyances. Spots where you could fall through the world, weird collision in places like Spaceport, and the Dam, enemies calling reinforcements from outside valid map zones, and a handful of strange pathing bugs that would make arc units behave unpredictably. Fixing all this removes those moments where your immersion snaps because something just feels off. Or worse, when you lose a run because you got clipped into the wrong part of the terrain. All of those "why did that happen" moments should go down noticeably. A bunch of stability adjustments quietly landed too. If you were crashing because your system didn't support certain instruction sets, or because of reconnecting or surrendering at the wrong time, those should be stabilized now. There's also a recommended AMD graphics driver version that helps with GPU-related crashes, so AMD players have something concrete to update if they've been dealing with instability. Even though stability notes aren't as flashy as weapon changes, they're essential for keeping the game feeling smooth rather than unpredictable. Audio tuning got a little attention too. Explosion sounds were adjusted so they don't drown everything else out. Situational awareness is huge in Arc Raiders, so reducing that deafening effect makes the battlefield feel more readable. You can actually hear what's happening around you instead of feeling like every grenade is detaching your soul from your ears. There are smaller fixes like corrected weapon stat displays and UI cleanups for weekly trials, but even those matter when you're navigating menus between missions or comparing weapons. The whole interface and flow feel cleaner now, like someone straightened the room while you were gone. Taken together, this update isn't just about nerfing a popular weapon or toning down explosives. It's a reshaping of how loadouts feel, how resources circulate, how the world behaves, and how stable your sessions are. Whether you're a Venator loyalist, a launcher enthusiast, or someone who cares more about map consistency and smooth play sessions, you're going to feel something shift next time you log in.